El Olam, the everlasting God Almighty. He has spoken with me today. The God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And in this conversation this night, the Lord has spoken to me about the coming of the Messiah. And in this tremendous continuing conversation between heaven and earth regarding the coming of the Messiah, this is what the Lord has spoken. The Lord has spoken two major events. Again, the Lord has spoken in a dichotomy in two major events, and the Lord has spoken in an open way. It is not concealed or veiled in any form. And this is regarding the glorious coming of the Messiah and the events that are now happening on the earth. The Lord Jehovah Eloheinu, He came to speak with me about disease. There is another disease that is coming to the earth right now. Already we have seen the prophecy that I gave in 2009, beginning July 29th, 2009, from Johannesburg, South Africa, regarding the release of the pale horse and the coming of death to the earth by the sword that we see everywhere right now, the ISIS and everywhere, across Libya, across Syria and everywhere. But also I emphasized by disease. I said the pale horseman, he is pale, and the color pale talks about sickly and deathly looking. Then from that point on, I spoke about the coming of disease to the earth, infectious diseases that have no cure. And I went on to say, on that same year, November 29, 2009, that there is a disease that is coming. And after that, all the way October 8, 2012, I even became more elaborate and more detailed about Ebola, how it would look like on the skin, it would manifest on the skin. And this is an ongoing, continuing, breaking story, breaking news. It's an ongoing story. But now, this night, on this night, the Lord has spoken with me about another disease that is coming to the earth. And I see a lot of people vomiting, tremendous vomiting. They are vomiting a lot of content of their stomachs out, and left and right, I see a lot of people vomiting. Right now, from where I stand, I see a lot of people vomiting, a lot of their stomach contents, slimy stuff. The Lord already put me inside that day. I have lived that future day, and I've seen a lot of people coughing and vomiting, and I also coughed and vomited very severely with everybody else. And that means the Lord has already taken me into the future, and I have already lived that future date, that future event. There is a severe disease that is coming to the earth, and the manifestation of that disease is going to be a lot of vomiting, left and right, coughing and vomiting stuff, a big ball, like you cough, and a huge ball of slime plus mucus plus I don't know what, everything, vomiting on the floors everywhere. People will be coughing and vomiting across the earth. There is a very, very severe disease, an infectious disease that is coming to the earth. and people will be coughing and vomiting in all directions, coughing and vomiting. I see people across the earth vomiting. I see distress. I see humanity in panic. People running up and down trying to find cure for this disease. And it looks to me like from where I'm standing and looking at that future day, right now as I look at that future day, I see as if there is no cure for that disease. And people are vomiting left and right. And then I see a lot of orphan children. I've seen a lot of orphans. I see a lot of orphan children, and they are black children. I see them. They are black. I see they are black in color. But I see a lot of children who have been orphaned. Again, I am standing here today announcing to the four winds of the earth, to the four corners of the earth, just in the same way I announced the coming of Ebola way back from 2009 through 2010, 11, and 12, until now Ebola came to the earth. I am standing here, and when I look into the future, I see a tremendous infectious disease coming to the earth, and that disease will be manifested. It will be typified. It will show up on the earth, and will be manifested by people vomiting tremendously. Tremendous vomiting the content of their intestines, content of their stomach is a terrible thing. I was looking left. I saw people vomited right. They vomited everywhere. People were vomiting. These are the tremendous days we live in, the days of his servant, the prophet. These are the days that are marking and demarcating the zero countdown to the coming of the Messiah. The days when the Lord is now fulfilling every word that was spoken in the Bible about the distress of this hour prior to the coming of the Messiah. I see this very historic disease, a very tremendous infectious disease, contagious disease. And that disease will manifest by people vomiting across the world, just vomiting. It's a tremendous, it's a sick situation to behold. It's a very, very disturbing sight. It's an unsightly sin to behold. Now, I gave the prophecy of the Ebola again, like I said, 2009, and then 2010, 2011, 2010, December 31st, 2011, January 1st, during the New Year's Eve service in Kisumu. I continue to give that prophecy all the way to October 8th, 2012, and I gave the specific details. And here we are now with the fulfillment that is shaking the earth. Like I said, the earth will be running up and down, and that disease will be such that very infectious. When you scratch your skin, it will mold. That part will swell up again, and more infection will take place. People will bleed, and the whole world will be running up and down. And the Lord indeed brought that prophecy to fulfillment. He brought it to pass, and he shook the entire earth. Now, the Lord has spoken with me about the coming of the Messiah. I see the Messiah coming, but the church the Messiah takes is a holy church, a righteous church, a glorious church, mature church, a church that is away and free from sexual sin, a church that is separated from defilement and this immorality that is sweeping across the entire globe, a church where the false prophets of Nigeria, false prophets of America, false prophets of Africa, of Europe are not operating, where he has shut them down. He has shut down their false mouths and tongues. I am talking about the glorious church of the firstborn, the church of the firstborn of heaven, the church of Christ the Messiah, the church that has separated herself from the deception of this day, the lie that you see in the church today. And when you look at the church in the United States of America, it is totally awash it is now floating in the sea of deception. And you want